Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here with Melissa. She is a first-time author, and she just finished my 12-week program just a few weeks ago. And I'm happy to have her share her story, share her book, and her experience. So, Melissa, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here too. So, before we get into all the manifestations you've done with your new book, I really want you to talk and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am first-time author, debut author of a dystopian book that I wrote over the last 10 years while being a full-time mom of two rambunctious, amazing boys, and then also a full-time teacher, high school teacher, and then as well as a college professor.
That is awesome. I know you've always, when we first met, you're busy doing a lot of things, but I'm most excited to talk about your book. So can you introduce your book? Do you have a copy of your book to hold up? Because I love the cover. It so speaks volumes of like your story as well. So tell us about your book.
Yeah, so the book takes place in Sacramento, California, and it follows the character Olivia Smith over a 10-year period, a little bit longer actually than that. And she is forced to marry someone who she doesn't love because of financial situations and things with her family. And ultimately, she spends 10 years playing the part, being the perfect Pinterest mom and, living this life that she's supposed to live within this dystopian world. And then she ends up in this like marriage system. You get rewarded for every year that you're married. And at year 10, you get 3 nights at a swanky hotel with 3 new partners. And so she decides to take it. And when she's there, she runs into her old love, the true love that was taken away from her 10 years earlier. And then she has to make some really difficult choices, whether she's going to choose herself or she's going to choose her family.
Yeah.
So it's book 1 of 3. And it's exciting and it's spicy and it, keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah. And the title is The Marriage Wars, right?
The Marriage Wars, book 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And awesome. And I'm going to put the link so people can find it, because I feel that so many women just today of being in those relationships. I mean, I was in a 10-year relationship too, where it was like, I didn't feel that I could be myself as well. So I feel that there's a lot of women out there that really could read your book and resonate and really have that, one of the things that we talked about that you want women to feel is like to have a voice, right? Yeah. So you're not boxed up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to share that. Like, I feel it's really something that society needs to read today. And I feel that this could be at some point something that we watch on TV or a movie. I honestly feel that as well.
Totally agree with you on that. Like, I already see it and I'm thinking, okay, this is who I want to play which part. And
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so excited. So we met on Bumble Biz, which was, that's one of the platforms that I use to like network with people. And when you came my way, I was like, well, she's an author. Like, what does she need from me? But we really got into that first complimentary call, that 30-minute call. And what was it that you learned about yourself just in that first call that said, you know what? I think I need to dive deeper into mindset and how I feel and to get the success of the book too.
Yeah. So it's so funny. Actually, I just got goosebumps. Like thinking about how we met, there's no way that it should have happened.
Yeah.
Because of the filters that I had on, and then you popped up and I was like, oh, business coach. Oh, I'm in the process of launching my book. This is going to be perfect. And then once we met, there was just such a connection. And I just kept hearing the voice, like, you have to work with her. You have to work with her. You have to work with her. And so originally it was for business, because I knew I needed somebody to help me focus and create like a business plan, because I'm a first-time business owner, first-time author. At that particular time, I think I was only a week into my now co-parent and I splitting up. We're in the process of getting divorced. And so it was almost like I was just looking for something like something to cling to.
Yeah.
And you appeared on Bumble Biz, which I had just got like probably a few days earlier. And when we were talking, it just felt so right. But in my head, I was like, how am I going to do this? What are the logistics? Like,
Yeah.
is this even possible? I'm going through a divorce. How would I also schedule time for this? And,
Hmm.
but it was so serendipitous that
Yeah.
I had to do it. As soon as I got off the call, I was like, yeah, this is a no brainer.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
have to do this.
And it's so funny too, because a lot of people that have that spiritual side that want to expand that, I feel like I'm a magnet to them as well. And you have that. And we've been talking in our sessions, which have been so great, like the goosebumps. I feel the goosebumps too, like super connected with a lot of my clients, but for you especially, it's
Yeah.
heightened.
Yeah.
And because I would think of ideas and you would like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about that. So really tuning in. And I said, like, we have a soul ship. And I love that, because it's not just having clients in my program. It's like learning about someone and actually having some kind of kinship with them at the end, just really following you and seeing how you're growing, but also have that friendship as well. And I think, it's not so like coach client. It is, but it isn't. In the end, it's more like a growing relationship together. Do you see what I mean? And it makes you
Definitely.
feel comfortable. And that's something that's super important as a coach, is like not someone who is so black and white, someone that brings color into it, which is weird because I've always said like the red color, and
Mhm.
your book is the red
Yeah.
color, right? Always
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
that red in. I love it. So you signed up, and what were, tell me a little bit about what you loved about the program, and maybe like the top 3 things, because there was a lot of things that came up, because it wasn't just business that we worked on. We really worked on self-love and self-development, right?
Yeah.
And what were like maybe the top 3 things that you learned about yourself, and maybe one of the top things that you loved about the program?
It's so, like, be able to reflect back on the last few months is so beautiful, because like originally it was for business. I was like, I
Yeah.
need a business
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
but this was not, there were that elements for
Yeah.
sure, but I was meant to meet you to work on my personal growth
Hmm.
and really coming out of this marriage. and
Hmm. Hmm.
and so there were so many times where I would be thinking something like we were just saying, or I would have the thought the day before, and then you would say something like, you need to close the door on this, or I think you should probably pause, or if you received this email from this person about your
Yeah.
book, you need to follow through with it. Where in my head I had that self-doubt.
Yeah.
It's like, don't
Yeah.
do that, you got to wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so that was like the overall picture, but I think the one of the things that resonated immensely were the forgiveness letters. I'm
Mhm,
actually having to
mhm.
write, I'm going to write another one.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good,
Like
good.
the other day something happened and I said, oh, I got to write a forgiveness letter
Yeah,
to let this go.
yeah.
um so that was huge. I think also just the affirmations
Mhm,
and were a big piece, and then the morning breathing.
mhm.
And I'd still do it.
Good,
Um,
good,
I
good.
mean, it's such a part of who I am in my routine, even though I still have like reactionary feelings and all those things that
Mhm,
make us normal humans.
mhm.
Um, they flow out
Yeah,
easier
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so I think for me, it was the the personal mindfulness and that growth was
Mhm.
so key to this. And
Yeah,
that's why you were placed in my life at this
yeah,
moment. Because
yeah.
I don't think the last few months without you and your program, I would not have come to this point where I am
Mhm.
without you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And really healing that relationship with yourself was important. And then you were attracting the right people and resources to come into your life, right? That
Yeah.
was one of the momentums. How important to you, because I talk about this a lot, like past trauma, inner child. I saw you always as, as you try to empower other women of having a voice. I always pictured you like the rise of the phoenix, like coming out, because you're a fire sign too, just that fire coming out of you and having the voice that you held on. So how was it to release that part and kind of heal and give validation to that part of your inner child?
It's been a game changer. Um it's always been there but been stifled.
Mm-hmm.
And now I follow that
Mm-hmm.
way more. So if I'm in a tricky situation, I don't stay quiet anymore.
Yeah.
And if I'm feeling something or thinking something, I share it.
Yeah.
And I also just listen. I just listen to myself
Mm-hmm.
way more than I did 12 weeks ago.
Yeah, your intuition is, I feel, more on point. It was more of that self-love and forgiveness. And that was a big part of your story and your book too, of like giving yourself that self-love and sharing that story so you can help other women today. I feel that's a big part of your story. All right. So I want to say you are like one of the top manifestors in my program, okay? From day one, because on a day one, we started writing down your goals. And one of the things was like, what do you see your business, your book that launched? So your book launched when? When did it launch?
April 4th.
Okay. And you started like a few weeks before.
Yeah, we started. Yeah, I think we started end of February, beginning of March.
I knew it didn't come out yet, but you were, so we were manifesting the growth of your launch and everything. And okay, so I'm going to tell everyone what happened after the first session. And then you tell me, because it literally, like a lot of people think I'm in a 12-week program and it's going to happen after the 12 weeks. It doesn't happen after the 12 weeks. As soon as you change your vibration and energy and feeling good about yourself and self-worthiness, all the things just come in, and they really came in fast for you. And you had a lot of stuff before the 12 weeks. So when we first met, one of the first goals, like you said, well, we were talking about getting on a podcast, kind of like getting that reach for, introduction of your book and all that stuff. And, then it was really getting your book advertised in bookstores and signings and all that stuff. So after our first session, I always have those weekly check-ins for wins and challenges. And the win that you sent me was like, you will not believe it. I just got on a podcast. And I was like, literally just a few days ago, we were talking about that. But also we shifted your energy of like, when you write down your goals of what you're desiring, there's a different energy that goes into that, right? You're just like, and that's what I do is I push that energy, like feeling good. And then all of a sudden, here it comes, that welcome, like resource of, would you like to be on the podcast? So how did that podcast go?
It was awesome. It was so much fun. And it launched, or it aired the end of April, just like 2 weeks after 2 weeks after my book came out, 2 or 3 weeks after my book came out. And then during that same week, I was also asked, so crazy. So I was also asked to do a book signing at an independent book event downtown with 2 other authors. And then I got an email that said, hey, can you come down to be like on the news? Like we're going to be doing it. And I mean, it just kept happening over and over again. And then those 2 authors that I met there, we have now connected in networking. And now we're doing an Instagram Live next month for all of our books. So it's just
great. It just kept on evolving and evolving and evolving
over and over and over again. And the Barnes and Noble was like, hey, do you want to come in and do a book signing? And then it just like all fell into place. And the most recent was I found my Audible narrator.
Nice.
I've been looking for her for 6 months, putting it out there. And then we happened to get connected maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. I heard her voice and I said, that is Olivia. Sent her an email on Instagram, or a message on Instagram. She got back to me. We got on a Zoom call, and the Audible is going to be out like, I think July 1st.
Yeah. So as you were working on your self-development, your business was actually on autopilot in the back end. And a lot of times, like I just got another text from somebody else. They go, I have so much abundance coming to me. I don't know what to do. And I felt that was your story. You're like, I have all these things coming. I know, just take it in, like really enjoy that stuff, because that is what you deserve. I always say the universe really blesses you with abundance once you're ready to heal yourself and see what you're worthy of, right? And not be afraid to ask for it. So you were just like, this is what I want. And I'm just like, here, I'm your fairy godmother. What would you like? What would you like to put on your order? And we just literally like wrote it out for your personal goals, relationship goals, and also your business. But then what happened is, even though you weren't really focused on, like, say you were like focused on other things, being a mom and stuff like that, your book was already growing. And after it launched, it really like took off after that. So Yeah, yeah. I think that's awesome. That's amazing. I mean, I don't mean I like when we sat in our things, you're just like,
Uh-huh.
guess what happened? I can't believe this happened. And I love that. I love when I see people manifest because everyone can manifest. They
Oh,
just have to change the way they feel in their mindset. So, what would you tell others who are maybe stuck in the same situation or needing that self-development and starting a new business? What would the best advice for you to give those people who are just feeling stuck right now?
I think well, so I think there's a couple things. I think first, like recognizing, like, hey,
Mhm.
I'm stuck
Yeah.
and I need help. I need something to make that shift. Because I think without you, I think the shift would have eventually happened. I don't know when, but it would have eventually happened, but probably not as polished,
Yeah.
um, and not as reflective. And so, I'm incredibly grateful that we found each other, because I mean, your program and the the homework that you would give every week, and then the cards that we got at the end of every
Yes.
session, it just guided me to be very much more open
Mhm.
and recognizing, oh, here's a limited belief that I have
Yeah.
continually told
Yeah.
myself in the
Yeah.
narrative of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, let's switch this. Here's a limiting belief I have about this person or this person.
Mhm.
Let's switch that.
Mhm.
And as going through the divorce process and having like
Mhm.
so many big emotions,
Yeah.
and when you helped me say shift your perspective here and there, it was a game changer.
Mhm.
And if somebody is stuck, I think sometimes without like that voice or that guidance or that coaching, they're
Yeah.
not going to be able to get unstuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if somebody is ready to be open and to be willing to try this, then they hands down 110% should. I mean,
Yeah.
like I would not be the same person today without this.
Yeah, and thank you. That's good to hear because
Yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
you were ready. You were ready. You had a lot of pent up energy in that 30-minute call. I was like, oh, I think she's ready. And then you're just like, I'm ready. Let's do it. And I feel it's that when you get to that point of exhausting yourself on sitting in doubt or watching YouTube videos or finding an answer and there's not it, mentorship is so important. But what I love is that you're not in group sessions, you're one-on-one, and everyone's story is so unique. And this is why I love to be a one-on-one coach because your story is going to be different than the person I'm coaching on in another story, right? And it's awesome to see the shift of you being that, just broken down a little bit and you're like, I don't know what it is. And then we work together and we find those storylines of what you've been holding on for a long time, shifting you through that. As you said, awareness, there goes another forgiveness letter. That means that you are going to take that part of you out of your subconscious mindset and just allow that to heal itself and then bring that abundance and self-love in. I love it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm so sad our program ended because I loved talking to you.
I know.
I loved all of our sessions. I think you got great shifts. And, what I find that is important is I follow my, clients on their Instagram, their social media. So how can people follow you for your book? Because tell us like what you have coming up. It's just not one book. What do you have coming up? Because I think you have rom-coms.
I do. Oh, this is
Okay.
okay. So yeah, so the dystopian book one is out, and then my Audible comes out in July.
Okay.
And then I'm working on a romantic comedy based loosely on my Bumble dating life.
We talked about that. It's gonna be great.
It's very funny. But also like again, like I write uh stories about women and being within certain social systems and gender roles and all these expectations that are placed
Mhm,
upon us. And so like the Marriage Wars book is very much um woven into marriage systems and
mhm,
social class and race
mhm.
and gender. The romantic comedy is, talking about a woman being her own Sex in the City woman
Yeah,
and
yeah.
empowering herself, but at the same time, like putting those cautionary tales in there
Mhm,
about the safety that we have to be mindful of as women. And so like, yes,
Yes.
it's really funny. And there's romance and there's strong female friendships, because that is the world I'm in right now. My
Yeah.
girlfriends
Yeah.
are my rock. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, another place of this manifestation and self-love and awareness. Like they are my people right now. And so really weaving them in the book. But also acknowledging that, you know, we live in a system where women have to be careful. And
Yeah.
so, yes, we can have fun and do all these things,
Yeah.
but we ultimately, you know, I
Yeah.
want the stories to be relatable. So the rom-com should be out later this year. I haven't decided. I'm not sure the publication piece of it, like, because
Mhm.
now that I have my business going,
Mhm. Mhm.
I might just try to self-publish, which I haven't done before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I have Marriage Wars book 2. It's called Manifesto. That
Ooh.
will hopefully be out next year. I started working on that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I had this feeling I needed to go to this bar downtown. And I got there and something happened. Like it just, there was this feeling I had, and I started writing a main part of the book. And I was like,
Yeah.
thank you for telling me to go downtown, even though I just wanted to go home and put my sweats on and watch Netflix.
Isn't that funny though? When you feel that like push to do something, I've had that recently too. Like, oh, I feel I need to do that. It's like those messages come in for you, and you're just like, I have to take action.
Yes.
And yours was like one of them taking action, but also hermiting. So we talked about hermiting a lot, right? Taking that time for yourself and loving on yourself. And then going into, even if it's a dating pool, because I think like with your rom-com, I feel like a lot of women are going to be able to relate to that too, of how just the dating apps are all together. So I love that you're able to put like reality into your pieces of work, because everyone can relate to that. And I'm sure it's going to be a great thing that you're going to be able to promote. So where can people find you on Instagram, right?
Yes, yeah. So I'm on Instagram and Twitter, but Instagram's my main platform right now
Okay.
until school gets out in a week. And
Okay.
then I go into
Yeah.
summer vacation mode. So I'll be focusing more on my business and launching on LinkedIn and Facebook. But Instagram, it's Melissa Gowdy Baldwin. And I do promos as well as, posting videos and things like that on how you can get to the book. I'll be posting, I think this week or next week, the narrator
Mhm.
for my Audible book.
Awesome.
But yeah, that, and then also my website,
Yeah.
melissagowdybaldwin.com.
Yeah, and if there's any other new authors out there, especially women authors, I mean, I feel that you're a great resource to get in touch with you, collaborate together, because I feel like you have so much to share, even in this journey, just starting with your first book. But all the things that you manifested are probably things that even like people are not manifesting. You're just like creating abundance and all these opportunities. And I'm so glad that we got to work together. And I'm so happy to hear that you're still doing well and you're still pushing forward and taking that time out for yourself and learning about yourself too, that intuition of just really like listening to your inner higher self and saying, I need to do this, and getting out of your sweats and actually taking action.
Yeah. Yeah. Or getting back into them, because it's like, no, you're supposed to hermit. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
it's just been awesome.
It's
Awesome.
been, yeah.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing, I told you, I think it was one of our last sessions. I said, I see, so you have to tell me, I see, and I get a lot of visualizations in my sessions. I see a woman with a hat and sunglasses in a bathing suit reading the Marriage Wars when she's on vacation and a travel vacation by the pool. I just saw that. And then I had said something about an airport too, because I see, like, I just took a flight to LA and I went to a bookstore too. And I was like, I see your book in one of these stores. So you'll have to tell me if that manifests, because I think you were going to reach out to
Yes.
some of those bookstores. Okay.
Yeah, that's it's on the list. And it was funny because when you said the airport thing, I think it was either the night before or the morning of, I saw it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then you said it, and let's see, I get goosebumps again. And then you said it, and I said, no, like I had already seen this. Like I know
Yeah.
it's coming. Like just like
Yeah.
I've seen the teleseries or the movie. Like I can
Mhm.
see it. It's all coming. And it's awesome. It's tricky to be patient.
Yes. Oh, Yes. That's
right?
something about manifestation, which I feel that a lot of people don't get. Like when we're so focused, ultra focused on it, it actually works against us because now we have a lack. But it's like when you let go, and I know you probably felt that too. When I let go, how are all of these things coming to me? And that really is manifestation energy, is like you have to let go and let things be done for you to expand that. Because if you're trying to control the narrative of like, I want to manifest this, and this, it's not coming to me. Why is it not coming to me? And then you get something little and you're like, well, that was disappointing. I go, well, you're not opening yourself to the law of attraction, the abundance of the universe. The universe wants to help and bring you, because that's the part of like attaching to something bigger. But when you do, man, like your whole story is like, I'm getting this and I'm getting this and I met this person and I'm getting signings and I'm doing that. And it just was based on your energy of like, these are my goals. I'm letting it flow and I'm letting it come to me. And this is the best part of me being a coach, is just like, when I hear that stuff of abundance, I'm like, yes, that means you're doing your part of healing yourself, healing the self of self-doubt and the self part of self-love of what you feel you can't get to, like, I deserve that self-empowerment, right? So super proud of you. I'm super happy for you. I'm going to make sure that when I post this video, we give you the links to everybody. I think anyone who's been in a relationship of the ups and downs, or has been in a relationship that stayed in it for even their kids, or stayed in it just to like create a happy home, and just needs to feel, what can I resonate with? How do I just move and shift to just being myself? I think that this is like, I got goosebumps. I feel that this is going to be a great book series for them.
Oh, definitely. And thank you. There's choice, and we have choice. What
Yeah.
choices you make,
Yeah.
but the fact that we can be strong women and make choices that are either, they're going to be difficult regardless of
Yeah.
what you do, but
Yeah.
definitely for
Yeah.
anybody out there that's trying to shift their life and their
Yeah.
energy into
Yeah.
being who they were meant to be, to become their full self in this lifetime.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you for joining today, and thank you for sharing your testimonial. Like I said, we have a soul ship. We're
I know,
always
it's
going
so
to be,
exciting.
you're going to be telling me all the great things that come, and I'm just going to be watching it and
Yes.
feel blessed to have you as a client.
And you're going to be with me, right, at one of the premieres, right? Is that
I
what
am
we're
definitely going to be with you for the premieres. If
Yeah.
you invite me, I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to be
We
there.
definitely have to do that, because let's do LA together.
Yes. I'm on it, sister. I'm on
I
it.
love it.
All right. Thanks, Melissa, for
Yeah.
joining me. And everybody, again, this is Melissa, her first time author, The Marriage Wars. I'm going to put the information into my description, how you find her, how you follow her. And thanks again, Melissa, for
Yes.
just
Thank you
coming
so much.
on
I
here.
really appreciate it.
All right. Bye.